Hello, happy Monday. This is Lynn. Today is weigh-in Monday, and I'm here to share my results. It's also September 11th, so if you're in the US, this is a day that we remember. It's been 22 years ever since the big attacks happened, and so we're remembering this day. Sorry, I'm looking pretty bad today because I didn't sleep well the other night, didn't hardly sleep at all, and it's been a little bit of a rough couple days sleep wise. But anyways, if you remember where you were that day, let me know. Put a comment below. I know I was working as an accountant at the time for AT&T Wireless in Rancho Cordova, California, and we kind of it was so just we heard about it. It was just on the radio. I mean, we didn't have smartphones back then, so we just heard about it on the radio, and initially didn't even realize that it was airplanes or didn't realize. We thought it was maybe just somebody's private plane accidentally crashed into the tower, and had no clue the significance of it at the beginning. And then as the day went on, obviously it became a huge deal, and I wasn't able to watch the news when the towers collapsed. But they sent us home. And so I caught up later, and it was pretty, obviously it was very traumatic. So, anyways, that's where I was at the time. And so, yeah, if you remember where you were, let me know in the comments. And, today we're remembering the people lost. And, it was this tragic event in US history, which in a lot of respects changed the course of history for much of the world based on the US response. So anyways, that's today, September 11th. I got something in the mail today, and I don't know if this is going to show up forwards or backwards. To me, it looks backwards. It may look forwards to you, but I ordered Sally Norton's book, Toxic Superfoods, about oxalates, and I'm really looking forward to digging into it. I've already started browsing through it, and like I initially screen froze, so I'm kind of starting over again with my book. But anyways, I initially ordered it for my daughter, or not for her to read because she won't read it, but for me to get more informed, because she has spent time as a vegetarian. She does eat a lot of vegetables. She loves vegetables. She's a little low on the meat. But she does have an inflammatory condition. And I thought, well, let me just get familiar with it. I'm trying to help her and inform her about how to, change her diet, maybe go low histamine, avoid the high oxalate foods. And so I figured, well, it's going to help me help her. But as I'm looking through it, she goes through and she has a whole list of symptoms of high oxalate, how you feel when you have oxalate overload. And I have most of these symptoms. So it's like, okay. And then I go back in a few pages and she starts talking about mast cells. And so of course I'm going to read that section. So I went ahead and read that section about mast cells. Now, you can have mast cell activation without mast cell activation syndrome. I mean, everybody has mast cell activation because it's part of your immune system. Now, high oxalate foods can lead to inappropriate mast cell activation, as far as like too much, releasing too many chemicals. The mast cells are degranulating too much, releasing too many chemicals, and you're going to feel horrible. But she does make a differentiation between regular mast cell activation and mast cell activation syndrome. So she basically said that there's no cure for excessively busy mast cells. And I like the way that she words that, because it's so simple to understand. That's what she's saying is mast cell activation syndrome. So if you have excessively busy mast cells, that's me. There's no cure for that, supposedly. So they say. It's still fairly early on in the knowledge of the disease, and so I hope that at some point that will not be the case, that we can slow those mast cells down. But I'm really looking forward to reading this book and seeing what I can learn from her. And I didn't think that I was eating a lot of high oxalate foods prior to becoming carnivore, because all I hear about is spinach, 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 spinach. But I looked over her list of high oxalate foods and realized that, yeah, I did eat a lot of high oxalate foods. I ate a lot of potatoes, and I ate a lot of, garbage foods and chocolate, and there's just a whole list of high oxalate foods. And I realized that, yeah, I have definitely eaten a lot of them. Now, I'm not in the same boat as somebody who is a vegetarian or a vegan. Like, I wasn't making these spinach smoothies where you get like an enormous amount of oxalates at one, with at one sitting. Um, but I didn't even realize that tomatoes are high oxalate as well. And, there's definitely a lot of tomato sauce issues. And I'm thinking back over the course of time, like with my daughter too, like she makes amazing spaghetti, like unbelievable. And she makes the sauce from scratch, and she just goes the extra mile with all of her process and ingredients to where there's so much flavor in her spaghetti and meatballs. But she does make that, fairly frequently. And she'll have issues where she'll start having like carpal tunnel symptoms. I never made the correlation, but I've learned since that can be a problem. And of course she'll end up with a lot of pain from her endometriosis and all of that. So, and interstitial cystitis. So I'm really hoping that this book is going to help me and help her. Anyways, so I was pretty excited. I got that in the mail and through Amazon today, and I'm going to start reading that. So as I learn things, I'll share. Okay, so on to the results for today. And it was, yeah, it's weird. It's another one of those days where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to lose weight or not. Because I think it's because of not sleeping well. And I've got an appointment with the vet for my dog Gracie in less than an hour. Because the fact that she has a lot of separation anxiety, and she's old, she's 16, she's got a lot of separation anxiety now. She has this thing where I know her urinary system is not working properly. She can't go through the night anymore. So she wakes me up every night. But even during the day, she'll go out into our backyard, and she'll, like, every few feet, she'll stop and squat. And I know that initially something's coming out, but after the first time or two, nothing's coming out. And she'll sit there, and I'll watch her. She'll sit there and she'll squat, and she'll just stare off into space, and she'll stay there in that squatting position for like a minute. And then she'll kind of shake it off, and then she'll move on to the next spot, which may be only a few feet away, and she'll do the same thing. I figure. So I don't know if she's like having just senior moments, and she's just getting doggy dementia, or if she's got a urinary issue. So I'm going to take her to the vet. We're going to discuss these things and, see what we can do. But if I can somehow get my sleep improved, that would be really fantastic. I'm kind of bedhead right now because I just am so tired. But anyways, on to the results. So as far as weight loss goes, the scale loss for this week was 1.6 pounds, which is great. No problem with that. It wasn't the 3 pounds from last week, but I'm happy. When I look at the details, I can see that the fat-free body weight, I gained 0.6. Sorry, I'm not seeing everything very well today. I gained 0.6. So my total fat loss for the week was 2.2 pounds. Considering that I was so tired, relatively inactive this week, and still losing weight. It's the thing with the carnivore diet. You just eat the meat and the fat and you lose weight. One thing I can say is that even though the other areas of my life, like the exercise and the sleep and all of that, are still, very inconsistent, I've been extremely consistent with my diet. And I think that's why we're seeing that there's some pretty steady results from week to week. So I was really hoping I'd be under 310, but yeah, whatever, it'll happen. My real big thing is to get under the previous set points. I had a set point at about 290. I had a set point at 275. I had a set point at 250. So I have these like set points in my mind. Sorry for shaking the computer. I have these set points in my mind that I want to wait and see if how long my body stays at those set points, and if it's really a true set point, or if it was just my lifestyle was making me stay there for a long period of time. And but anyways, my goal for this week is to kind of get back into being more active, and using my muscles, continuing to build strength. So totals. So totals since the beginning, when I first weighed in, which is May 31st of this year, the scale weight has me down 29.6 pounds. I have gained 12.6 pounds of muscle and bone. And this week, my fat-free body weight gain was all muscle. There was no gain in bone this week. But I have gained bone, so that's good. So my total fat loss since the beginning is 42.2 pounds. So that's fantastic. I'm really happy about that. And so let's see, taking a look at some of these other numbers, my visceral fat is still at 27. That hasn't moved down yet from that number. Still way too high. Let's see. My metabolic age, again, I feel like just punching the scale because it won't budge below 62. Can't wait until I am metabolically my actual age. Got 7 years to deduct from that, and considering how long it's taking to even bring it down by 1 year, it's going to take a long time. I mean, I just finished week 15, so today's the first day of week 16, so that's like 4 months, and my metabolic age hasn't moved. So I know I'm frustrated about this every week. So, but that aside, I'm happy. Things are still moving in the right direction, and that's what's important. So anyways, those are my results for this week. Again, goals are to be more physically active this week. I do need to drink more water. I think I was kind of like not drinking enough water this past week as well. So I do need to drink more water. I'm going to dig into Sally Norton's book. Again, it's Toxic Superfoods, and really learn as much as I can about oxalates and anything to tame down my mast cells. I'm currently not eating anything, I believe, because I don't think any of the animal products are on the list of high oxalates. But I'm curious to find out like how long it might take to get rid of the oxalates. I don't think I've had any symptoms of oxalate dumping at this point. I don't know that but I've heard that it can be really delayed. Like I've heard that the people have had like oxalate dumping symptoms that have showed up like 2-3 years after they've started avoiding the high oxalate foods. So I want to be aware of what those symptoms are and what to look for. And for all I know, I may be experiencing them. I haven't had any noticeable like crystals, oxalate crystals, and I know that there are definitely people who have that. I was just listening to Sue from New Zealand from Chatting with Carnivores on JT's channel, the Poco Moonshine family. She had her interview with I can't talk. She had her interview with JT the night after mine, and she has had some pretty significant oxalate dumping. So go listen to her interview if you want to know more about oxalate dumping and know what it looks like in an actual person who was, I don't remember if she was vegan or vegetarian, but she was one of those two. And so she ate a lot of high oxalate foods. So she has experienced more significant oxalate dumping and actually had the crystals coming out of her skin. And so she'll go into more detail about the symptoms that she experienced. And I think she said she's still experiencing some symptoms, even though it's been a while, but they're getting less. So anyways, it's a really interesting topic. It's a significant topic if you're going to be starting a carnivore diet. In fact, a lot of people will not just go cold turkey into a carnivore diet because of the concern about rapidly dumping oxalates. So some people will go into a ketogenic diet first and then transition into a carnivore diet. Now, I went cold turkey, but so far so good, as I think, as far as oxalate dumping. I haven't had any significant severe oxalate dumping symptoms. So anyways, that's it for this week. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Bye-bye.